Wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومعين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى يوم الدين وبعد إلهي أنطقني بالهدى وألهمني بالتقوى. Today I'd like to discuss a verse from Surah An-Nisa, and the verse number is 135. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse speaks to all of us, and He says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O believers, kunu qawwamina bil qist. Stand for what's right, stand firm for justice, and be a witness for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do the right, stand for what's right. Allah is asking you to take a stand for haqq. What's right is called haqq, and the wrong, anything to do with what's wrong is batil. So Allah says, stand firmly for what's right, for justice. Wallahu ala anfusikum, even if it's for you, if you have to make a judgment for yourself, right? For example, you make a decision and you say from today onwards, nobody is going to enter this building after 6 p.m. For example, I'm just giving a rough example, right? But then you yourself are 5 minutes late. Everybody else is inside and you say, because I made this rule and I am an exception, and you come inside. Allah says this is wrong. Even for yourself, do justice and do what's the right thing. You have to be just in all aspects of your life. Walau ala anfusikum aw al-walidain, and even if it's related to your parents, wal aqribin, and your very aqribin are relatives, not just relatives but very close relatives. In yakun ghaniyan or faqira, if you're making a judgment and you're passing out a judgment, on one side you have a poor guy, on the other side you have someone who's really wealthy or influential, and then you say, this poor guy, he'll never be able to help me ever in my life, so he's no good to me, right? But this wealthy guy, who knows, he might be of some use to me in my life. This man is someone who's important, so I'm gonna give him a favor. I'll do something that's wrong. I will not give a favor to the poor man even though he was on the right side. You know what I mean? So that's wrong. Allah says that is wrong. Fallahu awla bihima. It says Allah says that I will take care of all of these people. Like even if it's a poor guy. In one situation you see, you get emotional. And you say, well, this guy's a poor guy, right? He owes, let's say, if you're a judge, right? He owes someone who's really wealthy, a billionaire. And this poor guy owes this guy $1,000. Or for example, he stole $1,000 from a wealthy guy. What are you going to do? You're going to say, such a wealthy guy, a billionaire, this $1,000 is nothing, right? So let's just give him a favor. Even though he's a thief, just let him go because he's a poor guy. That's also wrong. That is also wrong. So Allah says, do what's the right thing to do. Do justice with everyone, even if it's poor or someone who's wealthy, a wealthy guy, influential guy, and he stands right before you and says, let me see what you do with me. If you do something bad with me, you pass on a bad judgment against me, you don't give me a favor, I'm going to get back to you and I'm going to harm you. Right? So Allah says, If that person threatens you, if you have a threat or whatever consideration there might be, forget it, ignore him, because Allah will take care of you. If you do something for Allah, Allah will be there for you. Allah will protect you from him, from that person harming you. So he won't be able to harm you because Allah is with you. فَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا الْهَوَىٰ, and don't follow your worldly desires, right? So this comes in the end after saying all of those things. Allah says in the end, so don't follow your worldly desires. So when do you become unjust? It's only when you follow your worldly desires, right? If you only think whatever you do, whatever you're gonna do is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're gonna do the right thing. You're not gonna do anything that's wrong. Right? Once you make that decision, then you will be unable to follow the worldly desires. Why? Because if you follow the worldly desires, then those become a priority. Those things, those worldly things, those materialistic things become a priority. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not a priority anymore. Islam is not a priority anymore. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are not a priority anymore. Mawla Ali alayhi salam is not a priority anymore. So what is a priority? A priority is money, wealth, and all of these things. So when that becomes a priority, how would you do justice? You won't do justice with yourself. You won't be able to do justice with your parents. You won't be able to do justice with anyone else, even your relatives or whoever, right? So, just like this, there are two other verses as well. For example, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamina lillahi shuhada'a بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. And this verse is in Surah Al-Ma'idah, and the verse number is 8, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, he's addressing the believers. He says, "O believers, stand firm for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Take a stand for Allah." This is Allah's command. Sometimes people say, you did a very good thing when you stood up for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You took a stand for Allah. This is Allah's command. It's wajib. Allah says, take a stand for Allah. O believers, stand firm for Allah and bear true testimony. So whatever is right, stand up for that. Do not let the hatred, and then he goes on to say this, do not let the hatred of a people lead you to injustice. So sometimes you hate people, right? You don't like people. There are certain people from certain part of the world that you might not like. But when they're standing before you, Allah says, do justice with them. Let that hatred not be a hurdle from you doing justice to them. If there's anything concerning those people who hate, I'll give you an example. Or if you're powerful, Amir Momineen alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. During his caliphate, he was a king, right? And a Jewish guy approaches him and he says, Ya Ali, this thing that you've got is mine. And that thing belonged to Ali ibn Abi Talib. Amir Momineen says, no, this is mine. He says, no, the zera of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He says, no, this is mine. So they go to the judge, the qazi. Amir Momineen says, let's go to the judge. He is the king. He could have said, take him to the prison, right? Send him to the prison. But Ali ibn Abi Talib doesn't do that. He says, let's go to the judge. Let's go to the qazi. They go to the judge. The judge listens to the case. And he says, Ya Ali, do you have any witnesses? He says, Qambar is my witness, the slave. So the judge says, he's your slave. How can I accept his witness? I cannot do that. I'm a judge and that's wrong. He says, okay. And then he says, Ya Ali, because he's the Khalifa, right? He's the Caliph. He gets up from his place and he says, Ya Ali, sit on my chair and I'll make the judgment. Amir Momineen gets furious and he says, how could you do that? You're biased. Just because I'm the king, I'm the Khalifa, I'm the Caliph, You're giving me an undue favor. How can you be a judge now? Right? So you're asking me to sit, and that man was the other party. You haven't asked him to sit on your chair, right? And you're giving me an undue favor, and you're a judge, and you're not supposed to do that. So he embarrasses the judge is embarrassed, and then he says, "Ya Ali, what am I supposed to do?" He said, "Pass on the judgment, which is on justice, which is based on justice." He said, "Okay, Ya Ali. So if you have got any other witnesses, please let me know." He says, "Hassan and Hussein, alayhi salam, my two sons, alayhi salam. These are my other two witnesses." And Ali ibn Abi Talib, when he says this, the judge says, "No, they're your sons. How can I accept them to be a witness, to a rightful witness? They can not be a witness because they're your sons and you're the father, and they won't be able to say anything against you because they're your children. And likewise, your slave Qamar will also not be able to say anything against you because he's your slave. So I cannot accept these three witnesses to be the witness in my court." Amir Momineen alayhi salam says, "Okay, fine. That's it. End of case." He says, "Okay, you won." Now the Jewish guy knows it was the right of Amir Momineen alayhi salam, right? And Amir Momineen alayhi salam says, "No, the judgment has been passed. I know this is my right. My right has been denied, but that's the right course of justice. So the right course of justice took its place, and I have lost the case. Period. No big deal. I'm leaving." So Amir Mu'mineen alayhi salam starts to leave. This Jewish guy, again, he approaches Amir Mu'mineen alayhi salam and says, "Ya Ali, you're the king. You knew that this is your right, and I lied. You knew I lied. You could have even sentenced the judge, let alone me. You could have sent me. You can even send me right now to the jail. But you're not doing that." Amir Mu'mineen alayhi salam says that is what is called justice, because this is the judicial system, and this judicial system must go ahead. So when he listens to Amir Mu'mineen alayhi salam's word, he falls on his feet and he says, "Ya Ali, now from today onwards, I will become a Muslim." And that very moment, that instantly, he becomes a Muslim. Right? There's another verse also in the Quran. It says, "La nukallaf Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha," and then after that, he says, "Wa idha qultum fa'adilu walau kana dhal qurba bi'ahd." And he says, whenever you speak, maintain justice, even regarding your own close relatives. So even if it's your close relative, whoever it is, Allah says, you're supposed to be just and keep the justice. All right. Now, any questions? Yes? Questions? Kids? जमात के मैं मसाइल अभी बता बिल्कुल ठीक
मैं दरखास्त कर रहा हूँ अपनी बहनों से और बेटियों से कि प्लीज मेंटेन साइलेंस प्लीज मेंटेन
all right there's one man who asked me a question yesterday. This is for the young boys who just become baligh, 14, 15. They should be aware of this masala, and all other people as well, all other people. Now listen, Jafri, sit down. Sit down. Listen to this closely. This is for you guys. Yeah. Somebody asked me a question yesterday. He said that if, for example, you get a wet dream and you get up and you're fasting, so your fast is no more. It's broken. No, it's not broken. What are you supposed to do when you have this wet dream during your day? You're going to sleep. You didn't do it intentionally, right? It happened. Now, what are you supposed to do? Your rosa, your fast continues as it was, as it is. Go and take a shower. Go and take a ghusl. Number one, if you had a wet dream before Sahri, before Fajr, then take the ghusl right there and right then. But if you don't, and you delayed intentionally, if you delayed the ghusl intentionally, then what happens? You don't have to fast that day. And there's going to be a kafara on you. And the kafara is feeding the 60 poor people or doing the 60 qaza, rosas. But during the day, if you were sleeping and you suddenly get up and you had a wet dream, no problem. Your rosa still continues. There's no kafara. roza continues, go and do the ghusl. Okay? Remember this masala. Number 2. Yeah. All right. You have a question? आपके पास सवाल करना चाह रहे हैं? जमात के मसाइल में बता रहा हूं. There are certain things in the namaz al-jamaat that you must know. Number 1, when you come to the jamaat, you should also have the right wuzu. You know what it? Look at me, all of you. Please look at me. I'm talking to the kids. Sorry, the people who are, the adults already know, right? Kids, look at me. Kids, look at me. You know the right wuzu? I'll just do the wajib wuzu. I'm not going into the mustahibat. Or let's do the few mustahibat as well. Wash your hands, gargle 3 times, put the water 3 times in your nose. That's all mustahibat. What is the wajib wuzu? Take the water in your hand. Start from here, where your hair ends, your forehead. Start from there, down to your chin. Spread it on your face in a way that all of your face, each and every part of your face is wet. Right? You do that. And then, second time, do that. Okay? Then what do? If you've got a ring in your hand, you can move it like this. I prefer to take it off. Take the water, put it in your left hand, start from before your elbow begins. Before your elbow, not from your elbow, not below your elbow. Before, above your elbow. Start from here, move your hand down up to the fingertips. Don't stop where your wrist begins. Certain people just stop here. Yeah? And then they go like this. If you go backwards, wuzu is batil. From top to bottom. If you do it like this, like Ahl Sunnah, your wuzu is batil. Some people rub it. That's wrong. It's one single motion, right from the top till the end of your fingertips. Like this. And like I said, everything should be covered. Some people leave this part. Remember not to leave this. Repeat it on the other arm as well. How do you do the masa? You can do it sideways, up or down. Doesn't make any difference. But the wetness of your fingertips should not touch your face. The wetness on your face should not touch this. Once you're doing the masa, stop. Don't go all the way. Because if you go all the way, the wuzu will be batil. If it touches your forehead. Right? That's number 1. Number 2, once you're doing the masa on your feet, don't move your feet, because you're supposed to do the masa on your feet, not the feet doing the masa on your hands. Therefore, the feet should be still. Move your hand. The feet should be still. And how should it be? Starting from your toes till where your foot ends, like this. Right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot. Period. Salawat wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Any question? Quickly, please.
When you do face, do you have to cover all the face or just this part of it?
It's wajib between the 2 fingers, you're right. But then it's mustahab to cover all of it from the ear to ear.
Just quickly do this, is it good?
Yeah, but then you have to be sure that your beard, everything, your chin, underneath your beard, your chin and everything was covered with water. So you have to like rub it to make sure.
Go down. You cannot go up, or you make
You cannot go down. Once you're going from top to bottom, this is the way. From your elbow till your fingertips. If you go the other way, wuzu is batil.
you like someone was telling me if you're doing this and then going up and then you touch it, but your intention was to go down, then it's not considered bad.
See, intention to you're doing the wuzu, right? So intention will always remain that you're doing this.
Yeah.
But once you go the other way,
Even if by mistake you go other,
yeah, it becomes it is batil. Allah salli ala Muhammad.
आज हमारा आजान का टाइम 7:39 है और इस वक्त 7:35 है। अगर और
Oh, so we still have time. 39.
3 minutes है।
Okay, fine, fine. Any question, please? Still have 3 minutes. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, please. Masa. The question is, I've seen some people do the masa on the socks. It is wrong. The wuzu is batil. The thing is, the wuzu water must touch your skin. All of the parts of the your body parts where you're doing the wuzu, there must be three things. It should be tahir pak. It should be like dry. It should be tahir. It should be pak, dry. There should not be anything on the skin that is a hurdle from the water touching the skin. Like if there's some paint or something, you have to take it off, right? Dry, not wet. No, but if it's like if it's like damp or there's something, a little bit of wetness is fine. Wetness is fine. That water of the wudu should be more in quantity when you're touching your hand, for example, or your arms. Yeah, little bit of wetness is fine. Any question? Yes. Louder. Thank you. That's when, like, for example, that's a very good question. He said, can you use extra water, and how are you supposed to do it? If you take extra water, your wuzu sometimes becomes batil. It depends on how you do it. For example, I'll give you an example. If you're in Saudi Arabia where the air is really dry, or you go for ziyarat, right? You're doing the wuzu, and sometimes your skin becomes dry. So when your skin becomes dry, where do you take the water from? You take it from your beard. Because the first water you threw was on your face and it came on your beard. You don't have a beard, but on your face, right? You take it from your face and use that to do the masa, for example. Or you're doing your arms, your face, and you've done your arms and you've done your face and everything. But what the problem usually occurs when you're doing the masa, sometimes because the wind is blowing and it's dry and it's hot and everything, so it just evaporates, right? So you have that problem. If that problem exists, then what you do is you take a little bit of water from your face and you do the masa. Okay? You had a question? Yeah. Can you do that on the mic, please? You got a mic? Yeah? Quickly.
Let's say you like took a shower before doing wudu, and then like your hair is wet, can you still do masa over it?
Yes, very good. But if it's like damp and it's like just a little bit of wetness, it's fine. You can do still masa on it. Yeah. But you make sure that it's dry. Not completely dry, but it's just a little bit of is all right. Salawat wa Muhammad wa
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم